Developments in the South African music industry are taking center stage at this year's Moshito Music Conference and Exhibition underway in Johannesburg. In one of the breakaway sessions, music industry players looked at an innovative approach of creating linkages between African musicians. To discuss this further, we're joined by Andre Leroux, who is chairperson of Moshito, and King Patudi Mphahlele, who is a board member of Moshito. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Andre, let's start with you. What are some of the issues under the spotlight this year?
Well, the major issue under the spotlight was making connections on the African continent and also international trade and live music. For me, the most successful part of Moshito this year was the Equations Music program. One of the most successful parts, because we brought in about 12 promoters from the African continent. They did business at Moshito. They went to gigs. They traded their business cards and CDs. And we're looking at trade amongst African countries. So these festival promoters looked at the talent we have on offer. They brought certain performances and we saw them. And we're going to book some of their artists and they're going to book some of ours.
Now,
so, yeah.
Just King, to also bring you in, achievements so far with this particular conference?
I mean, we had about 200 musicians participating, about 70 showcases. We had nearly 50 exhibitors, and we had about nearly 500 people going through our doors every day.
So just talking about the linkages, clearly it's not just about Africa, it's also about the rest of the world. And exporting South African music seems to always be a challenge. Any breakthrough to talk about, any innovations that are going to be employed?
Most definitely. We launched the MIDEM project. South Africa is going to be host country in MIDEM 2010. That's known as the world's biggest music market. And we're going to, there's quite a number of themes we're looking at, positioning South African music industry within Europe. And then we've also established linkages with South by Southwest. And South by Southwest in the States has over 1,000 showcases. A group, the Blackjacks, has already cracked it at South by Southwest. So if we position our artists within these international markets, we position our industry in those international markets. Two other key aspects in terms of media is that we got coverage of Le Monde in France, which is the biggest French newspaper, and we also got an article, which we didn't even pay for, in Billboard magazine. So the biggest music industry publication,
so some
and the biggest French publication.
Yeah. Just King, talking about Moshito itself, I mean, is this just a get-together for musicians and to throw around ideas? Once Moshito has taken place, resolutions have been arrived at, what then happens? How do you drive implementation?
I mean, first of all, Moshito is a 7-member organization which comprises of various sectors. So it's not only musicians, it's music practitioners and musicians. And as part of our program over the year is to take what resolutions that has been and put through as the recommendations to government, and see which ones we can implement as Moshito.
Yeah. Any successes to talk about over the last while now?
I mean, one of the biggest successes is the fact that Ghetto Rough announced their collaboration with the Commissioner, which is one of the top producers in America, in a Grammy award-winning in America at Moshito, and which is that announcement that ended a billboard. The partnership with South by Southwest.
Yeah.
The partnership with MIDEM, with DAC announcing MIDEM at 2010 is one of our biggest achievements.
Andre, any other successes to talk about, looking at where Moshito has come from?
Over the last 6 years, we started out as most people would think, a gripe and moaning session. And what we've managed to develop is a really interactive session where the key issues of piracy, technology, digitization, intellectual property, all of those are discussed and thrashed out in detail. And we've made the major links across the globe with MIDEM, with South by Southwest. But for me, what's most important, those links are now taking place on the African continent and with the Indian Ocean islands and Mozambique and all of those.
Okay.
So we're bringing it back home, which is great.
Thank you very much. Andre Leroux is chair of Moshito. King Patudi Mphahlele is board member of Moshito, both joining us to talk about this year's music conference and exhibition. We're going to take a break. We'll be back. Final news bulletin, final weather report in a moment. Stay with us.